we wake up in the morning, we go and watch some form of human-centric entertainment or participate in some form of human-centric entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
We go to retreats and with each other and sit around and talk about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe people still listen to podcasts.
I hope so for your
Yeah,
sake. Yeah. It feels a little bit like a cruise ship. And, and there are some cruises where, it's smarty pants people and they have lectures in the evening about ancient civilizations and whatnot. And some are more popular entertainment. And this is, in fact, if you've seen the film Wall-E, this is one picture of that future. In fact, in Wall-E, the human race are all living on cruise ships in space. They have no constructive role in their society, right? They're just there to consume entertainment. There's no particular purpose to education, and they're depicted actually as huge obese babies. They're actually wearing onesies to emphasize the fact that they have become enfeebled. And they become enfeebled because there's no purpose in being able to do anything, at least in this conception. Wall-E is not the future that we want.
Do you think much about humanoid robots and how they're a protagonist in this story of AI?
It's an interesting question, right? Why humanoid? And one of the reasons, I think, is because in all the science fiction movies, they're humanoid. So that's what robots are supposed to be, right? Because they were in science fiction before they became a reality, right? So even Metropolis, which is a film from 1920, I think, the robots are humanoid, right? They're basically people covered in metal. From a practical point of view, as we have discovered, humanoid is a terrible design because they fall over. You do want multi-fingered hands of some kind. It doesn't have to be a hand, but you want to have, at least half a dozen appendages that can grasp and manipulate things. And you need something, some kind of locomotion. And wheels are great, except they don't go upstairs and over curbs and things like that. So that's probably why we're going to be stuck with legs. But a four-legged, two-armed robot would be much more practical.
I guess the argument I've heard is because we've built a human world. So everything, the physical spaces we navigate, whether it's factories or our homes or the street or other sort of public spaces, are all designed for exactly this physical form. So if we are going
to some extent, yeah, but I mean, our dogs manage perfectly well to navigate around our houses and streets and so on. So if you had a centaur, it could also navigate, but it can carry much greater loads because it's quadruped. It's much more stable. If it needs to drive a car, it can fold up two of its legs and so on and so forth. So I think the arguments for why it has to be exactly humanoid are sort of post hoc justification. I think there's much more, well, that's what it's like in the movies and that's spooky and cool, so we need to have them be humanoid. I don't think it's a good engineering argument.
I think there's also probably an argument that we would be more accepting of them moving through our physical environments if they represented our form a bit more. I was thinking of a bloody baby gate. Those like kindergarten gates they get on stairs?
Yeah.
My dog can't open that, but a humanoid robot could reach over the other side.
Yeah, and so could a centaur robot, right? So in some sense, centaur robot is...
There's something ghastly about the look of those, though.
Is a humanoid. Well...
Do you know what I mean? Like a four-legged big monster sort of crawling through my house when I have guests over.
Your dog is a four-legged monster.
I know, but he's cute.
So I think actually, I would argue the opposite, that